Verse 5, circumcised the 8th day.
Go up further.
Verse 4, though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more.
Why did he say that? Because he was almost perfect in keeping the law. Read that again.
It says, though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more. Circumcised the 8th day.
Part of the law. He's going into the law. He was circumcised on the 8th day. So what did that mean? Was he a Gentile that converted to being an Israelite? Or a Christian? No. His parents, his father and his mother, which they don't go into, they had to both be Israelites that knew that they were Israelites. I mean, I know they were Israelites, but they knew that they were Israelites. When Paul was born, 8 days after he was a man-child, he was circumcised according to the law. So his parents, they were well to do, because he actually had a tutor, and the tutor's name was Gamaliel. So that's in Galatians the 4th chapter. And Paul mentioned that. Why did Paul? Matter of fact, go to that. Go to that. Go ahead.
Galatians 4:1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors unto the time appointed of the Father.
Now, Paul said that because he went through that, man. He was under tutors and governors. As far as teaching them the law, the proper law, he had an actual tutor, a man by the name of Gamaliel, an expert of the law, a doctor, so you can understand. If you want to get any further understanding, check out the movie The Last Emperor. It was right before the communists had took over China, the whole of China. And you had this young child, this Moabite child that was king. And basically when he got to a certain age, they went over to England and they got this tutor that taught him everything, man. Taught him how to read, taught him how to write, taught him how to eat, taught him how to be a gentleman, taught him how to deal with women, taught him how to be subtle. And that's what the servants up under them had went and got. And it was and the guy that played his tutor was Peter O'Toole. Now Peter O'Toole, that dude is real tall, man. Because years ago we ran into him and Yeshua called him a devil and he said, "You're going to slavery, man." And you know what that dude did? He didn't have that nervous look. He stopped, he looked, he took his hat off and he went like that and he put it back on. He smiled and then he kept going. Go ahead.
Back in Philippians 3:5. Circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, a Pharisee.
What do you mean when he said, as touching the law, a Pharisee? Meaning the Pharisees always pushed that law, right? So he said, as touching the law, a Pharisee, meaning he kept the law. He kept the high holy days. He had the fringes and the border blue on his garment. He kept the Sabbath. He ate things that were lawful. Go ahead.
Concerning zeal, persecuting the church, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless.
Read that again. Read that again.
Concerning zeal, persecuting the church, touching the righteousness which is in the law.
Righteousness which is in the law, meaning righteousness is keeping the law. Go ahead.
Blameless.
In other words, nobody could come up and say, well, I saw you did that. You broke that law. Nobody could find any law that he broke. So they couldn't accuse him of anything. So he's talking about the law. So now let's see if the law is the key. The law is part of the key. Because once you get the name, once you learn this knowledge, once the Most High sup with you, open your eyes, then you know to grow a beard, you know to honor the Sabbath, you know to keep the high holy days, keep the Passover, so forth and so on. Go ahead.
It says, But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Yahushai.
What was gained to him? The law. One of the main things, that he had a prestigious position. Go ahead. He was known in Acts the 4th chapter. The scribes and the Pharisees referred to Peter and the rest of the 12 as unlearned. But the apostle Paul was learned. Go ahead.
Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushai my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Yahushai.
Right. He said, the laws that I keep perfectly, I count them but shit, that I may win Yahushai. So you're wrong when you said the keys is to keeping the law. Go ahead.
And be found in him, not having mine own righteousness.
What is your own righteousness when you keep the laws? Which the scribes and the Pharisees bragged about how they kept the law perfectly. But then Yahushua caught him out there several times. Go ahead.
And be found in him, not having mine own righteousness, which is of the law.
That's plain. That's plain. Of my own righteousness, which is of the law. Go ahead.
But that which is through the faith of Yahushai.
But that which is through the faith of Yahushai.
The righteousness which is of the Most High by faith.
By faith. All right? And that's what you don't teach your followers. So you guys that are following Nate, you should leave that guy. Because it could be detrimental to your health. You know? So do we finish that in Galatians 3? Do we read all the way to the 6th verse? All right, go ahead.
Galatians 3 and 2. This only would I learn of you. Receive you the Spirit by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? Are ye so foolish? Having begun in the Spirit, are you now made perfect by the flesh? Have you suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? He therefore that ministereth to you the Spirit, and worketh miracles among you, doeth he it by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Verse 6. Even as Abraham believed the Most High, and it was accounted to him for righteousness.
Plain. You can't get around that, man. So that argument, and like I said, I'm going to say this again. We're not saying don't keep the law. There's a reason why we got beards on our face. We don't have beards on our face because it's the height of fashion. All right? We don't have fringes on the bottom of our garments because that's a new fashion statement, man. We didn't keep the Passover because we didn't have nothing better to do on that day. We know you're supposed to keep the law. But that comes in an order. All right, now let's go from there to Revelation 14, verses 1 to 5.
Revelation 14, verses 1 to 5. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And
meaning written in their mind. Go ahead.
And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. Verse 5. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High.
Right, now click on the word guile.
Yep, the Greek word there for guile is dolos.
That's
and
right.
It says craft, deceit, guile.
Craft, deceit, guile, which is synonymous with bewitch, to bewitch somebody.
Yep. Down here it says to speak deceitfully.
To speak deceitfully. No. Go back. Go back.
All right.
Now scroll down. See if there's any other scriptures. You should have a lot of scriptures there.
Yeah, there's There's one in Matthew 26:4. Matthew.
Well, the one I want, get me Mark 7,
And
verses
22?
20 to 20. Mark 7, verses 20 to 23.
Okay, Mark 7, verses 20 to 23, it says, "And he said, That which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications,